Hi everyone, it's Nikki Farsa. I'm one of your medical science directors for Girls to Empowerment, and this is the day 2 of 3 of my nutrition camp. And if you guys didn't catch the first day, it is up and it's about basic nutrition. Today we're going to be learning about reading food labels. So reading food labels is an extremely important part of realizing what is good and bad for our nutrition. So being able to read those labels at the grocery store will, drastically change the stuff that we take in. So without further ado, let's get started. And after this video, there's also a third one. So please go check that out. I ask for those who were also in the day 1 to please take out your notebook that we did the icebreakers in. And took notes in and stuff like that, please take it out because we're going to be adding a lot more to that today. So once again, hi guys, I'm Nikki Farsa. I'm a senior and I'm ready to show you guys my passion for nutrition. And let's continue it. So please contact me at nikkifarsa@gmail.com if you guys need anything, if you guys have any questions, have it be personal on nutrition, on our club, please let me know. And also a disclaimer, I also told myself to say it, is that please do not take my advice over a medical professional's because I am not a medical professional. I'm just here to educate all of you on basic knowledge about nutrition. So let's get started. So our icebreakers. So please take those notebooks out and add these questions to them and answer them. So first question is, what do you already know about nutrition labels? Second question, do you read nutrition labels when you go to the grocery store, or do you just grab that thing, yank it off, and put it in your bag? Are you able to recognize the bad things to the good in food? So something that I know, something that I learned is that when you can't pronounce certain words on a food label, it's a little bit dangerous. This is something that you should definitely be skeptical and look at because you want to be able to know what's going inside your body. So these are the 3 questions. Nutrition labels, you could talk about like the most popular thing that all Americans and all people see instantly when they look at nutrition labels is the sugar content. It's extremely important to learn about sugar, but then again, that isn't the only thing that is important within a food when you buy it. So I'd ask you for you guys to please pause this video and please write all these down into a notebook. As I did like here, I have a little notebook that I wrote mine in already. So as I was making this, I actually, just like you guys, I took notes before I did it and then I went and I researched about it. So now I'm here, I did the research and I'm going to tell you guys all about it. So something that I learned, a quote that I found, was that nearly 90% of Americans read nutrition labels, but they don't look in the right areas. As I was mentioning a little bit earlier, majority look at either sugar or calories. They never look at things like serving size, things like salt, fats, trans fats, and all that. We're going to go in depth in all of those today so you guys can be more tedious and you guys can be more aware when it comes to reading your nutritional labels at the grocery store. So, next slide. So I'm going to be using this sample today. It's for frozen lasagna, and this is what I'm going to be using as a reference throughout our whole entire presentation. So we're going to be going through these 4, as you can see, the serving information, calories, nutritions, and quick guide to percent daily value. So what do these things mean, right? We look at total sugars, mainly as you can see in the yellow area underneath dietary fiber. We look at that and we think, oh, is this a lot? Is this not? But then again, there's a lot more, including, as we can see in this one, it says 4 servings per container. So if you were to eat the whole container, you'd have to multiply everything here by 4. So there's a lot of things in depth into a nutrition fact label. So we're going to go get into that. First, we're going to be starting with number 1, which is serving information. So the serving size is standardized to make it easier to compare to similar foods. So companies do this in order to compare their products with others as competitors. And it is, once again, it is not a recommendation of how much you should eat. So 1 serving is the average. It typically reflects the amount of people that usually eat or drink. So it is the average that the usual person that consumes that product eats. not necessarily isn't saying is it right or is it bad or is it good. It's just we have to be certain with our own bodies, right? So you need to watch out on the serving sizes. So we can go back, we can see. So this one has a serving size of 1 cup. And this 1 cup, it's 4 servings per container. That means that the whole entire bag has 4 cups because it's 4 servings, so we multiply it. That's something that we need to look at. So being able to multiply it, look at our serving sizes, look at our quantities. As example, this is the 1 serving of lasagna and the 2 servings. So as we see on the serving size up there, we do 1 cup, obviously multiply by 2 because it's 2 servings, right? Calories, same idea. Saturated fat, same idea. Trans fat, same idea. Cholesterol, sodium, and all of that. Perfect. Moving on straight to calories. So I actually screenshotted the 280 from the lasagna, but this is just the 230. This is another nutrition label. I just wanted to show you guys like the full, like where you would be able to see it on the label. So calories, these provide a measure of how much energy you get from food. They always say kcals. That is the amount of energy that you are going to be getting from foods. And obviously calories, as we know in society, should be lower. The lower the calories, the better it is. That's why you always see like all these products coming out with the light version or the skinny version or the thin version. So you need to be able to balance the number of calories that you eat and drink with the number of calories your body uses. So I'm going to be copy and pasting this link right here, the third one with the My Plate. And I want you guys to be able to take it's like a little test. You guys can see what is a specific calorie count for you, your age group, gender, size, and all that stuff. So please take a moment, pause this, go take that survey, and please write it down in your notebook or somewhere so that you know. And we're going to be using that for later for the next, for the day 3 of our boot camp, and we're going to be making our diets or changing them. So that is what calories are. Moving on, we're going to be looking at nutrients. So nutrients, if we can go back, we look at number 3 right here. So we're looking at cholesterol, sodium, carbohydrates, all the important stuff that a lot of people don't look at. So the key nutrients is to get less of the saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars. Nutrients, as we know, is like nutrients. And the good nutrients is coming from things that are like fruits, vegetables, like true foods is what I like to call them. When buying stuff that's processed or when buying stuff that has nutrition labels, when buying stuff that goes through, that processing, you want to look to have the least amount of these 3 things, which is saturated fat, sodium, and added sugars, because those are not good for our bodies. They can increase in gain. They're bad for our health, can increase a lot of conditions. So as I said, eating too much of a saturated fat, sodium, or added sugars can lead to developing heart conditions like cardiovascular and high blood disease. So these are types of things that we need to be able to watch out as kids, so that later on in life we don't look at it and the stuff that we eat now, the stuff that we do now will obviously be reflected when we're older. So things like being able to exercise, things like being able to take in good foods, you're going to thank your body a lot later when you grow up. That's for sure. Like a main example, my grandma, she ate a lot of good foods in her life, and she didn't have much, like she didn't have osteoporosis, or she didn't have things that she could have gotten because of the way she ate and the stuff she ate. So it's just looking out for your body. It's looking out for you now and for the future. Consuming too much added sugars can make it hard to meet with, your important nutrients or the calorie limits. As we know, sugars and all this stuff have a lot of excess calories. We call them empty calories. Empty calories are things like donuts, cupcakes, stuff like that should not be taken out on a daily basis, but obviously once in a while is great. Birthday parties, a little enjoyment. But consuming too much added sugar on a daily basis will then build up and cause a lot of harm for our bodies. When we look at this, we look at, as we can see here, it says total sugar is 6 grams. I want to see if I have the ability to use a pointer. I'm going to annotate this. So when we look at the total sugars here, that is total sugars. Right underneath here, it says includes 0 grams of added sugars. So when we look at includes, that means that total sugars is the total amount of sugar, having it be from added sugar and sugar that is already, within that product. So added sugars, in this case, there is no added sugar, meaning that the 6 grams of sugars that are inside of this product are actually natural sugars that are already there. They aren't added, they aren't preserved, they aren't, additives. So that's really important to look at when it says something like includes. Includes sorry, that's not a good drawing, but it tells us things that are added. So like trans fat, saturated fat, total fat, right? So we look at this, total fat can be from saturated fat, right here, trans fat, which should be a 0 because it's not good for you whatsoever. And obviously we need to stay away from stuff like saturated fats that are inside certain cheeses, certain dairy products. That's also not good for you and not good for the heart. Cholesterol should be very low. Sodium should be very low. Potassium and stuff like that should be very low. So that is let me look at this. So that's that. Moving on to types of sugars. So as I explained in the previous, as we can see in the previous, total sugars, let me draw here. Oh, am I able to draw? I don't think so. Oh, there we go. So when we look at here, non-dietary fiber, but that is important to look at as well. Total sugars and include 0 of added sugars. That's what we look at when we speak about, as we can see on the next slide, types of sugars. So total sugars are sugars that are naturally present in many nutritional foods and beverages, like milk and fruit. Once again, fruit is something that is a pure, like a true fruit is what I like to call it. There's no daily reference value that has been established that I've looked at for the total sugars of recommendation, because obviously each person is different and there isn't a certain specific estimate. But obviously taking less sugars is better, but taking the right amount of sugar is good, which is from natural sugars. Added sugars are things like sucrose or dextrose, which are very bad. Sucrose, so like high fructose corn syrup, like fructose too. So foods are like table sugar, syrups, honey, sugars from concentrated fruit or vegetable juice. Like I said here, note having the word includes means before added sugars on the label. So it indicates that the added sugars are included in the number of grams in the total sugar of the product. So as we saw back there was no added sugar, which is 0, which is great, which is amazing for the lasagna. But there's 6 total sugars, which means that there's 6 natural sugars, true food, which is exactly what we want. Moving on, I think this is the most confusing part for a lot of people when they look at that percentage. So the daily percent value, this is the percentage of daily value for the nutrients in each serving of the food. So it shows us how much nutrients in each serving of the food contributes to our total diet. So the total diet of an average person, right, 100% of daily, and we look at it and it helps us determine if our food is high or low in the nutrients that we like to intake. So looking at this, it's like the sodium, the DV, so one serving is 850 milligrams in this lasagna, right? So that's 37% of our daily value of nutrients. And so we have 63% remaining. When taking 2 servings in the sodium category, we're already taking up 74% of our daily intake of sodium. So that's really important to look at. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm taking a lot of sodium. This is, not great for me. So being able to cut that sodium intake is really important. So looking at this as like a general guide, 5% DV or less a nutrient is considered low, 20% or more is considered high. We often like to choose a higher percent in DV for dietary fiber, vitamin, but obviously lower for stuff like sodium and added sugars. So when we look back at, I'm trying to find it right here. When we look back at the dietary fiber being 14%, that's a good amount, Obviously, we want it to be 20 or more than 20. But looking at the sodium, I mean, you guys can already tell that it is excessive amount of sodium, over 20%, which is not good. Same for saturated fat, but for calcium, it's good, and stuff like, so you really need to like be able to look out and watch out and see, oh my God, is this good for me based on the daily value of the intake. Zooming right through, this is, so I'm going to be putting in 2 videos into the bio.
It's 5 o'clock.
Sorry about that. Into the video. So when it comes to these videos, I'd like you guys to pause and look at them and then come back. So I have 2 videos for you guys to see. It's a TED Talk, and I love TED Talks because they really tell us, you know, the information that we need. So this is the first video. This video talks about how the food you eat affects your brain. And to be honest with you, I was going to explain it like in a nutshell, but I think this video really did a great form of explanation. So thank you so much for TED Talk for, you know, being able to let me use a video. When it comes to, so basically this explanation right here is what they wrote in their bio. So this is a little spiel or a little summary. So when it comes to what you bite, chew, and swallow, your choices have a direct, long-lasting effect on the most powerful organ in the body, your brain. So what food causes you to feel tired after lunch or restless at night? So Miss Nakamuli lets us know in this video about how the certain foods that we eat affect our brain, which then when it affects our brain, we can see the long-term effects on our bodies, on our organs, on stuff like that. So it's amazing, and I love this video. So please pause, watch this video, and come back. And then for the second video, this is how another TED Talk, how the food affects your gut. So the bacteria in our guts can break down food the body can't digest, producing important nutrients, regulating the immune system, and protecting against harmful germs. And while we can't control the factors that go into maintaining a healthy diet and a healthy gut microbiome, we can manipulate the balance of our microbes by paying attention to what we eat. So we're going to be looking at this in depth about how the food affects our gut, which is extremely important. Once again, we're going to see by learning about the gut and the brain, it all intertwines and leads to the other things that are inside of our body and the effects of the other things. So that's it for the second day. Thank you all so much for being here with me today. And I would love you guys, if you have any questions, please contact me at nikkifarsa@gmail.com. And also, if there's any questions or any immediate questions you have, please write them down in your notes, book, or anything, and just let me know. And that is it. So I hope to catch you all in the end. So the last series, so the last part of our boot camp, which is the third day. So we're going to be talking about a lot about how to alter your diets right now, and stuff like that. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I can't wait to see your guys' progress. Thank you so much, and have a great one, guys.